So, first interview for Destino Paraguay. You are Joe, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name's Joe. I own a business here now selling beef tallow related products. So for cooking, then I do moisturizer, candles, lip balm. Just actually started a toothpaste yesterday, which is a little bit weird. I don't know how it's going to work, but a lot of people seem to want it, so we'll see. And yeah, absolutely love living in Paraguay. I've been here almost 2 years now and zero plans to leave.
Lovely. Well, I've seen these products you are selling on the social media, and I actually really want to try them. But let's keep that for later.
Mm-hmm.
First, I wanted to know. I will ask you the same question as the one I have asked me when I arrived. The taxi driver, he actually said to me when I was sitting inside the taxi, "Why, why the fuck are you here? How the fuck did you hear about Paraguay?
Yeah.
How is it that a Occidental, let's say, or for your case, an Australian, for my case, a French, is coming to Paraguay? How did you know about the country?
I first came across Paraguay long before it was ever popular for expats. And that was because I lived in Brazil when I was 18. So I lived in Brazil for a year. I did a trip to Iguazu Falls, which borders on Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina.
Yeah.
I've since learnt that Argentina and Brazil had like a war where they actually stole that from Paraguay. They had no rights to it initially. But that's like a whole historical thing. Very interesting if you're interested in looking into the history of Paraguay and the country, particularly as a guy and how it relates to women. But that's a side point. So I entered in Paraguay at Ciudad del Este, which is like on the far side of Paraguay. It borders Foz do Iguaçu, which is the Brazilian city, and then you've got Argentina on the other side. My first introduction to Paraguay, I pretty much made the decision I was never going to come back to Paraguay.
Why
I
so?
did not like it. I thought it was ugly. It was dirty. It was
That's because the only experience you had was Ciudad del Este,
yeah,
maybe.
very. But I'm also 18 at the time, so
Okay.
I'm not thinking that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe this is only a small portion of the entire country, and there's other things that I might
Yeah,
like.
and I think at
But
that age you are not that comfortable with exploring that kind of chaos.
well, I was in Brazil, so Brazil had a lot of that sort of stuff, but it just didn't seem like a place that I'd really want to come back to. Brazil's got a lot of beautiful things naturally as well, but I was also looking for very different things back there. Like I was 18, I'm partying, I'm going out, I'm getting girls all the time, and drinking all the time. My lifestyle is very, very different now. And so at this stage in my life, why I decided to come to Paraguay after leaving Australia, I had a list of about 30 countries that I wanted to go and visit and a criteria that I wanted to meet to find a country I wanted to live in because I was so pissed off with Australia and what had happened during lockdowns, the whole COVID era, how the government had responded, and how the people just took it really pissed me off. And the people kept voting for it. So I worked out, well, I'm just in the wrong place. This isn't the location for me. So then I came up with the things that were really important to me. I had a list of like 25, 30 countries to go and visit. Paraguay was not one of those countries. And I was living in Colombia before here in Medellin, which I really liked. But it's got shitty tax rules. So I needed to find a place where I could get tax residency to get out of the Australian tax net. And I was tossing up. I had Georgia. I went and looked at Georgia in Europe, but I knew very quickly that I was never going to last 6 months there to get the residency. And then it was Panama or Paraguay. Paraguay was cheaper and faster, and it was close to Brazil. So I decided to come check it out, and I'm
Nice.
still here.
So have you been doing these kind of pros and cons lists and ended up with these three countries like Paraguay, Panama, and Georgia, or
Purely for tax. So
purely for
each
tax?
country had different things that I wanted.
Okay,
So like, if I want the beach, I'm not going to come to Paraguay, right?
yeah,
That makes no sense. Uh,
that's a
but
big piece of the problem actually. I mean, in my case, the tax thing was also very important to be
yes,
considered because I mean, how can you forecast yourself in a business in a country if you know that everything you are making as money will be given to the state or given to
yeah,
someone else? So
yeah,
whatever country you are expecting to go to, then you have to look into the tax topic very carefully, because that's a key point here.
If it's important to you, there's a lot of people that are really happy paying tax, and I don't understand that thought process, but that's fine. There's a lot of countries that accommodate
Maybe the
that.
point is what the government later do with the tax. That's also something, because if you have this government that is doing everything with your money to make your life very easy, and then you do not have to think about nothing, everything is under control, but you can still have your word to say in the process, things like that. Maybe it can be something interesting, but I believe that it is not the case, at least for France. Maybe for Australia as well.
Definitely not. Not in my point of view, anyways. There's obviously people in Australia that are okay with it, and that's why they're still there. It's just not for me. So here, that was the thing that I was chasing, and then surprisingly, just started to fall in love with the place. And it was like the food was really big. Meat is just incredible quality here,
It is.
incredible,
It is.
and insanely cheap in comparison to other countries. So the quality is so much better,
So what's the
and the price is so
what's
much
the
less.
medium
What the
price
hell?
for meat in Australia, for instance?
Well, it
Not
depends what
speaking
cut.
about the kangaroo, because I know that's a specific meat, but let's talk only about
Like
a
steak.
cow. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for cows. It would be, so if you just go for like an average cut. No, let's do ribeye because ribeye is easy to price here. So if you get a kilo of ribeye here is less than $10 usually a kilo. It'll be about $7, $8 a kilo.
Yeah.
It's very hard to even get ribeye in supermarkets in Australia. Like the way the supermarkets are here with meat is crazy.
You have to
But
go to specific supermarkets, I
yeah,
guess.
or specific butchers and get the cut. And you're
Okay.
probably looking at around, I know it's more expensive since I've left, but I would think around $40 a kilo
Okay.
for a ribeye cut. So you're looking at sort of 5, 6 times the price, and the quality is worse. It could be more than that now. I'm not. I just haven't been back in ages. I have no desire to go back.
Yeah, I understand. And do you have any idea about how they feed the cows here in Paraguay? Because there is a lot of debate about the topic of the grass feed animals and the, I don't know how you call the other side of it.
Like
The
the grains and shit.
Yeah.
Um, well, here's everything's much closer to nature and much closer to the natural way of things. So the vast majority of cows, even in the dairy industry, they all just eat pasture and grass. There may be sections, I'm not familiar with them, where it's a more industrialized. I know there's definitely sections that use more antibiotics, more vaccines, and things like that. And that's particularly in meat that's designated to be exported, because
Okay.
that has to fit with the regulations for the country that it's been exported into.
Understand.
So there's a different process for that meat. I never touch that meat. I buy the stuff that only the locals buy that has as little regulation
Yeah,
around
yeah,
it as
yeah.
possible.
I love the German brand, the Newland.
Newland, yeah.
I love it.
Newland's good.
I've
Newland's good.
been trying like 5, 6 different brands. The one you buy in the supermarket,
Yep.
and the Newland is the best. I
Good
think
cuts.
for the price and also for the quality, you have everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
only go for Newland here.
Yeah, there are other good ones. That Newland's probably the more cost effective in the supermarkets. But if you get out of the supermarkets and you find the butchers where just the locals go to, that's like as clean as you'll get. Because
Okay,
you see them walk into the butchers with like carcasses on their shoulder and they're just cutting them up in front of you. It's great.
I
I love
haven't
it.
reached that part of the being citizen of Paraguay. I'm still the one going to the supermarket, but maybe one day I will go to that kind of
Yeah,
butcher.
yeah.
So let's focus again on the reason why I wanted to talk to you. So you said that you knew about Paraguay, like kind of for luck, no? Or did you? I mean, did you do like research about the
I did no
country?
research on it for this trip or when I initially found out.
No, for coming definitely to Paraguay. When you decided to go for Paraguay, was you looking for specific information aside of the tax topic, or did you just go to Paraguay like, okay, I will go and see there? How did you plan your trip here?
I knew I had to be here for 4 months to get the tax residency.
Yes,
So that was my. I think it might be longer now because they've changed the process with the
yes,
cedula and that.
they
So
have.
it's probably a little bit harder. But yeah, 4 months. I thought, suck it up. It's going to be cheap. Go get it done. I was living in Colombia, and for me, Colombia had basically hit all the other metrics that I wanted in a place that I was living in. It's just the tax laws were shit. So if I could find another place to complement the tax laws, then I would have
Okay.
been very happy living in Colombia. And then I got here, and everything I wanted for living was better than what I had in Colombia, with probably the exception of like Medellin is a beautiful city,
Yeah.
beautiful city. The views, the mountains, like the dancing. I really enjoy the dancing, bachata and salsa. The culture there, the energy in the street is different to here. But I don't need that in my day to day life to living. When I'm running a business, when I'm building a family, that for me is a really nice thing to have close to visit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I left and got here. And I just, the big thing for me that, because I hadn't really decided on the place when I first came and did the residency, even 4 months in. I went back to Colombia for 2 weeks. I could have stayed longer, and I was missing Paraguay so much. So for me to go to Colombia, which I love, and think, no, I want to leave and go back, like that for me was like, holy shit, like Paraguay's
That's the place I
amazing.
want to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that was a really big moment for
I
me
think
too.
we are coming back to the point we were saying earlier that this is the place you can forecast yourself. You can see yourself in the future having kids, having business, having
Yep.
whatever you want to have. I'm father of one for the moment, maybe two in the future.
10.
Yeah, I hope so.
Me too.
But I mean, that's a place I can say, okay, my kid will go to that school, nothing will happen to them. I can build a house there, and the house will still be there in 30, 40 years. These kind of things is something that we are now missing in France, at least.
Mhm.
Not only speaking about the political stability of the country, but also about, well, the general stability. Um, you cannot build something without knowing that it will stay there for 20 years and that the rules will not have changed,
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
will
gotcha.
have the money for maintaining the house, these kind of things. We are not able anymore to think that way, at least in France. I
Yeah,
believe it's the same in Australia because we are
similar.
kind of the same agenda, let's say.
Yeah, same sort of political thought process. They're very socialist,
Yeah.
borderline communist countries.
Okay, so when you came to Paraguay, did you have like family or friends or girlfriend or whatever that you wanted to bring with you? And did people how do you say, did people try to stop you from going here, or were they like, okay, just go, it's fantastic, that's a good trip? What was the exterior point of view about, well, in your case, America del Sur, and maybe just Paraguay when you told them that you were going to Paraguay?
For my family, they were that was probably something that they sort of talked about more when I was traveling when I was younger. I traveled a lot since Brazil. I lived in China for a period. I was in Asia for about 2 years, and then I've just always been in and out of Australia. And Australia's never really been for me. Um, so coming here, I didn't really get any of that from my family. You'd get a few comments from people that had no idea about Paraguay, and they'd say, "Why would you go to Paraguay?" And then I'd just ask a simple question: "Do you know where Paraguay is?" No. And it's like, okay, why would I listen to anything you have to say about the topic? Like, you don't even know where the place is, let
Yeah,
alone like people didn't even know it was country, which is one of the appealing factors about
but people
Paraguay.
still have an opinion.
They
That's the
still have an
problem.
opinion. I don't put too much weight in people's opinions that don't have
Good.
the results in life that I want.
Yeah.
So if they're giving me advice, which everyone likes giving, and they don't have the result in that specific area that they're giving me advice, I'd dim one area out the other.
Yeah. It's like asking parenting advices to someone who do not have kids.
Well, not because you could get people that. So in that instance, and I say this because like my business in Australia was a martial arts business where I taught kids and I specialize in kids, and
Okay.
I'm brilliant working with kids in the area of discipline, building habits, those sorts of things. I'm not
Oh,
a parent,
nice.
but I can definitely teach parents things around that specific area.
Okay.
Talking to parents about how to deal with sleepless nights and all that sort of shit. That's not my thing because I
Okay.
haven't done that.
Okay.
But teaching them how to build patterns, systems, routines for discipline and those things for the kids, brilliant at that, and I'm better than the vast majority of parents because that was my business, and I've lived it and I've done it.
So we'll have a talk about it later.
There's yeah, but so when you're searching for advice on things, they don't necessarily have to have like be in that situation, but there has to be a good solid foundation or something that supports that.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm talking to someone who's never left their hometown of 20,000 people about where I should travel internationally, it's just not a very good decision.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to a millionaire about how to make $10 million, it would be better to talk to someone who's got $10 million. But if I don't have any money, maybe a millionaire is the best I can access. And at that point, that's a really good person to get advice from.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it varies at stages.
Okay. So you said that you were working with kids in Australia. Really interested in that, but for later.
I'll start the same business here, just a little
That
bit
was
later
the question. I wanted to know, did you think about starting the same business here in Paraguay, or how did you come up with the idea of working with the tallow?
Okay,
What happened? How did
let's
you
go to the
change
martial
from?
arts business. So initially, I was trading when I was here, and I gave myself 2 years to get a certain result in the trading area, which I didn't get. So that was my cutoff, and I had to decide what else I was going to do. There were a few things that I was looking at working with. I love training dogs, so I was looking at doing a business training dogs. I don't think that would be very lucrative here. I just don't think you have the market. So, but I'd love to do it. You could probably still make, you probably make a business that's doing reasonably well and, make 100 grand a year or something like that. But I don't know. That's not really for me. I want something that can,
You want something big.
that can scale to a lot more than I've done previously.
Yeah.
Right? A kid's self-defense business is hard to do that. Not impossible, but it's difficult. That was one of my problems in Australia. I got to a point where scaling was very, very difficult. Scaling in the tallow business is still difficult, but different problems. And for me, it's a lot more manageable to get to like 7, 8 figures in this style of business than in kid self-defense business. I think I can do it a lot quicker, but and still maintain quality. I chose the tallow because before leaving Australia, I was working on farms. So I was working with sheep, cattle, and goats, and I love goats. I've got a little goat farm in Australia.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, they're cool. I don't eat the meat in supermarkets in Australia, so I wanted to have my own supply when I went back.
Okay.
That was like one of my foundational reasons for getting the goats, and I like goat meat. So when I go back, I kill them, and I've got my dog who's on my logo, Jack, and he was the first one I went to catch goats with. Like we caught wild goats. Okay. So he'd like wrestle them to the ground. I'd grab them, chuck them in the back, make sure he didn't kill them, and that's how I started my little goat farm. And I killed the goats, and I like when I'm harvesting animals or killing them, I want to try and use everything of the animal. I don't like just killing for the sake of killing. If there's a purpose behind it, and it's being used, then that's great. And I thought I'd heard about this soap thing. If ever anyone's watched Fight Club, the fat and our generation most likely.
There's something to do with the fat.
Yeah,
always,
it's like
always.
render the fat, make some soap, and then we can blow stuff up. I haven't got to the blowing stuff up, but the making the soap was appealing, so I thought I'd try it with the goat fat, and I did. I couldn't actually use the goat because the soap. I took some with me, but I left some for my dad, who was in his late 70s.
Okay,
he's got horrible Irish skin, and he never calls me, never contacts me, but he made a specific point to tell me about how good the skin on his hands looked a month after I'd left, and that was the only thing he changed was the soap that he was using. He was like, I don't want to run out of this soap. Like, it's amazing. I haven't seen my hands like this in 20 years. And I was like, wow. And it didn't start as a business idea at that point.
Okay.
But the thought was there. And
all this was in Australia?
This was all in Australia.
Okay. And then what happened here?
Thought maybe there's potential. I had a mate here that I saw at a dinner we went to, and he was carrying around a jar of tallow that he'd rendered. I was like, this guy's weird. But he obviously cares about health. And I was like, oh, I'll go have a chat to him and then talk to him. And when I moved from the trading thing and I was making a decision about another business, I thought, let's give the soap thing a go. You've got like amazing animal quality here that they're clean. They eat really good quality food. So the quality of the tallow here is probably going to be close to the best in the world if you render it well, as opposed to anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just because the quality of meat is so good. So it made sense from that standpoint, and I talked to him about it. And the idea was just soap initially. We weren't
Okay.
going to sell tallow, we weren't going to sell collagen, we weren't going to sell moisture. It was just soap.
But tallow is only from the cow.
Yeah, tallow is the fat rendered from the cow.
Okay, you cannot have that from another animal. It's
Yeah,
only
you
the
can.
cows.
I don't know if they use the word tallow for other animals.
Okay.
Like, so for pigs, it's lard.
Yeah.
They say the word lard. In Spanish, they just say grasa de whatever animal.
Yes.
So it's always the fat.
But you're bringing the tallow.
I'm only working with the cow because
it will go in the culture now, because you are bringing the word to the culture. So tallow will enter to the dictionary here. I'm sure about it.
possibly. It's more like when I'm talking to the locals, they term it with the word grasa. So
Grasa,
you always use
yeah.
grasa, they whatever. They understand that better. But they know tallow from like TikTok videos and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So you've got a little bit of an overlay. But yeah, talked to him. He said, yeah, let's go. So we started together. It just didn't work. Went our own ways after about 8 weeks and expanded into, the tallow, collagen. Collagen's probably the most popular product that I've got. Soap, moisturizer, lip balm, candles, and now toothpaste, apparently.
That's crazy. But how did you know that you can do everything, all these things with tallow? So you were like buying tallow?
I knew I could do soap.
Okay.
I didn't know about anything else.
And then research and then
the moisturizer I think I'd heard about from people that as soon as I was like, let's do tallow, then you get, the phone's always listening. So you start getting videos of like moisturizer stuff that's tallow. And then I'm like, oh, apparently this is really popular. I had no idea that it was super popular. Zero.
Who knows? In maybe 2 weeks, they will find out that the tallow can be used as, I don't know, to make coffee or something else. I don't know.
Well, you could use it the same way that you use any sort of fat. So it's something that I'm actually really intrigued in, trying to make like a cream out of it.
Okay.
Like a cream that you would make from dairy, but doing it with fat. Because when you whip it and you get the nice creamy texture, the texture is actually quite nice, but the flavor's not. It's very awkward.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see if I can make something that's good around that front. But that's
is it
way
the same
later
material you use for the candle as for the toothpaste, as for the washing machine? Is it the same tallow, or
it's the same base?
Mix it with something?
They're all mixed, so they've all got different recipes. They've all got different recipes. They've all got different quantities. They've all got different timings on when things need to be mixed. That's why they're different products.
That's not like I can buy a big jar of tallow and do whatever I want with
no,
that.
No,
I have
no,
still to process it.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to go and make your own stuff, then yeah, you can buy the tallow and do it, but the process for each one is different.
Oh, that's so interesting that you get into that business without knowing anything, and then you come up with so many ideas.
Yeah.
And how does it go?
Well, you mean the products?
Or
the clients, or the sales?
The company, however you call that business.
Well, it's growing, always growing. Every month's been bigger. There was one exception where I was like 500,000, which is like $100 less for that month. But with that small, and I think we had like 4 holidays or something in that month. Crazy public holidays, so they kill sales. But yeah, every month's growing at about 20% each month in sales.
That's huge.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But it's still very early days, so not working with massive numbers. But basically really only started the BlackJack Tallow mark in March. So we were selling in February.
Okay, 5 months.
Yeah.
Not even that.
4. About
4 months.
Yeah, about 3.5, 4 months.
Whoa.
I've got about over 220 clients now, and clearing 100 sales a month.
Wow, that's very nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
so it's going nicely.
Congrats.
It's going nicely.
And any plan for the future, aside of developing this brand, this business? Any plan for, I don't know, to establish yourself here, to make a new business, build a house, something like this, something more?
A lifestyle thing, not business related.
Where do you want to live? Where
I want to live here.
Yeah, okay.
So Paraguay is like a little city just It's a little bit
Yes.
outside. It's sort of opposite end. San Bernardinos are like a popular place
Is that
here.
the
but-
one known for the strawberries?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
I love that place. That's my favorite place.
It looks nice.
Yeah, really, really nice. The climate's a little bit different. It's very family sort of orientated. So, and there's a plot of land that I wanted to buy. I'd still like to get it, but that's the place I'd like to buy land and build like a family home. That's the location that I really like. But I'm letting the business sort of guide me at the moment. That's the, when you're starting a business, you got to put everything into it. It's like a child.
You want to see
Everything goes in.
You want to see where it goes. And
Yeah. Like I want to be selling in Brazil this month. That's my goal, is to be in Brazil this month. I'd like to be in Argentina before or during August at the latest.
Okay.
And by the end of the year, I want to be selling in the US. That's
how,
like
how
my
do you
yearly
do
goal.
that? Do you get in touch with
I
the?
don't know. I know Brazil. I know people in Brazil.
Okay.
So I know how to do that.
So you can just say, okay, I sent you, I don't know how many kilograms of tallow, and then
Yeah,
you
we
send
just
that-
got to, not tallow, so not the raw stuff, because you're probably asking
Of
for
course,
problems
yeah.
with customs and things
So
like
the
that.
products, the finished product.
Yeah, so it would be the moisturizer I'll be able to get in easily, the soap I'll be able to get in easily, the candles, I don't know that they're going to sell super well in Brazil, but I try it. Toothpaste, if it works, those sorts of things will be easy to get in. The raw tallow, I'm going to have
But
my
this,
systems to get that
this
through.
is your, how do you say that? This is the product. This is something you buy to someone else, I guess, the tallow, and then you transform it.
No, I make the tallow as well.
Also, you make the
Yeah, I do
tallow,
everything
so you
from
have
scratch.
cows as well.
The only thing I don't have, I don't have my own farm with the cows.
Okay.
That's the only thing I don't have
Okay.
at the moment. I will. Eventually,
You will.
I'll own the whole
For sure,
line.
you will.
Yeah, I'll own the whole line. But right now, I don't. And yeah, so I have butchers that I work with, local guys, and they get it in the most. It's the cleanest way that I could possibly obtain meat without owning the whole process.
Yeah.
But owning the whole process is a step for probably a year
Yeah,
away.
you need to,
a year, maybe 2 years.
You need to have people working for you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
a bigger investment. And at that point, I'll probably have my own meat line and those sorts of things. And
that would be very, very nice.
Yeah, it would be cool. It'd be like New Land, but my version.
You will have to be competing with like these big German.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Let's see in the future. But you have very nice business. I love the path that you took, and very interesting.
Appreciate it.
To conclude, where can we follow you and see what you are doing? Any updates about the company or yourself, if you want to have yourself on the social media, maybe?
Yep. So Instagram at the moment is the only place that I've got a social site. And a lot of people are going to be like, why don't you have a website? Why don't you have this? Paraguay's different. You don't need that stuff to start with.
Instagram, nothing
Instagram
else.
is 100% the way. If you're looking at starting a products business like mine, Instagram. Facebook's also very good. I'm one person doing this at the moment. I don't really have the time to jump between them. So at BlackJack Tallow would be at BlackJack_Tallow on Instagram. I've got a link to WhatsApp. So if you're in Asuncion and you want to get the products, start a conversation with me on WhatsApp and I can have a look. But that's the stories. You'll get like the daily updates of what I'm doing, where I am, where the products are, if we're at certain markets, you can come and have a look, have a chat. Or if you just look at them, want to try them, send us a message and we do delivery, or you can come pick it up from me as well.
Well, thanks a lot. It was a nice chat.
Beautiful.